WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We've been watching all this active weather happening in states west of Alabama, and we've had some storms moving in already. Things well ahead of schedule. We were concerned later tonight we could see a severe risk across far northwest areas, but that threat has really dropped off here because of storms already moving in. Let me show you what's going on. This is a look at what happens or what's been happening in Marion County. This is around the Hamilton area. This is just east of Hamilton. In Brilliant, our weather watcher, First Alert weather watcher Marla Minter sharing that, and look at that ominous sky. Now, this is a part of our area. If you're tuning in from outside of the state, we've had a lot of severe weather here in Marion County. This is the third week we've had storms moving in, so I know everyone there is watching closely, paying very close attention to these storms moving in, especially with a site like that this afternoon. But I'm happy to report severe threat there has ended. 60-degree temperatures that we have in place right now for the Hamilton area, but quite the view. You can see we started out, we had 80s, and just beyond the leading edge of that rain and storms, rain-cooled 60s. There's Brittany Pace. That's in Detroit, and yes, we have a Detroit in Alabama, and that is in northern Lamar County. So Brittany, thank you for sending that, and send those photos on the First Alert weather app. Always help us out. Of course, when thunder roars, we want you indoors, but after the storms pass, or if you have a safe location and you're able to gather some ground truth, we certainly appreciate that, and we like to share that here on WBRC. Helps us out a lot of storm spotters that we have out in the area. I want to go to our other AccuTrack system here. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan on the controls, and first off, we'll start with this broad view, and one thing I want to point out, you see this line right here? That's the gust front. That's the rain-cooled air. It's outrunning the storm. So a lot of what we're seeing here is not surface-based. So no worry about a tornado and something like this. That's not going to happen. But, you know, if we do get another storm that pops up that may try to work its way northeast along this system as it stalls out, maybe some gusty winds. You may have maybe some small hail if we did get a storm, but I just don't see a lot happening out of this tonight. This system's weakening. It's stalling. But with things moving ahead of schedule, notice this is closing in on Coleman right now. The one area where we still have a little bit of lightning popping, that is in Winston County, but the lightning frequency, the lightning count has backed off quite a bit. But you may be hearing those rumbles. You certainly don't want to be on Smith Lake, and with this gust front, those winds could reach 30 to 40 miles per hour as this tracks to the east. So Arley and places like Curry and back towards Duncan Bridge, that's where we're getting the gusty winds right now. There's Crane Hill. I mentioned Jones Chapel next in line for some of this heavier rainfall. But you can see even as the cooler air moves on towards Coleman, the rain, with every scan that we get, it lags further behind here over in those northwestern areas. So a lot of this wet weather is going to kind of stall out to the north and west. But with something like this, it could kick off a few showers, especially as far south. I've been talking, at least the forecast data has been telling us that most of the rain is going to happen after midnight for areas like Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and Anniston, but I can't rule out maybe a shower or two as that gust front approaches. I do think the cooler air will reach us, especially Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. We'll see a drop in temperatures here later on tonight. But as we get into the day tomorrow, we're still going to have this system over the state, and there's a chance that in the morning we'll have some more of these showers. You see how they're kind of tracking from southwest to northeast along this axis here. We'll see some more of that rain around tomorrow morning and perhaps in the afternoon, but the data is telling us that if we do catch some breaks tomorrow, maybe the greater chance in the afternoon. Unfortunately, I can't promise a completely dry day tomorrow, but just keep the umbrella nearby. Have that First Alert weather app handy. You may need it as we track the system. And Lauren's plotting where the heaviest rain's located, and you can see there around Marion County. Look at that, almost an inch of rain. That's very impressive there, Lauren, showing up there across Hackleburg and Hamilton, but Bexar and back in towards Scottsville, those areas where we've been tracking that stormy weather. I want to go over to our First Alert weather headlines. There was a severe thunderstorm watch back into Mississippi, and that has been allowed to expire. Well, here we go. You see this, Lauren. Here's a live look from Jasper, and there's that shelf cloud You can see it moving in over Jasper right now. That's the gust front moving in, and the wind's going to pick up. You can see right there the flags waving in the breeze. That wind's going to pick up to around 30-40 miles per hour as those temperatures take the tumble. So check in with us as we continue to follow along on these rain chances. Notice showers most likely tomorrow morning, rain likely Friday and Saturday. If you have an Easter egg hunt Saturday, afternoon looks like the best time of day, so plan for that. Again, check in, because when you get in situations like this, stalled out system, we get model runs every hour. Every time we get an update, we have a better idea, better understanding when and where some of that rain could happen. So making those Easter weekend plans. I will tell you this, Sunday morning I'm seeing upper 40s out there. It's going to be chilly for those Sunday morning services, so plan for that jacket weather for early on Sunday, and a little bit cooler out there. At least we won't be, I guess breaking a sweat too quickly there on Easter Sunday for those photos. I do see some dry weather though for the afternoon, some nice weather for the Easter egg hunt. But we'll of course talk more about that 7-day forecast coming up here on Weather Extra. Also coming up here on Weather Extra, as we continue to track the storm, it's all about the safe place selfie hashtag. We'll explain more on what's happened over Arkansas, those Midwest storms, and we'll talk about that threat to the Northwest, which seems to be dropping by the minute. So more coming up right here. You are watching First Alert Weather Extra.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. You can see here on our First Alert Sky Vision at Jasper Sanders Aviation, we are seeing the leading edge of the storms. This is the gust front that is moving into Walker County. The good news is that as this gust front comes more defined, you get that cooler air descending out of the thunderstorm. That is going to lessen the severe threat going into tonight. So definitely some encouraging news. But regardless, this destructive storm system that has moved across the Midwest has spawned at least 10 reported tornadoes so far that ended up turning deadly. Officials in Missouri say 4 people are dead and several others injured after a reported tornado there. The same storm front continues to trek east across the central U.S. after battering parts of Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and Michigan. Laura Aguirre brings us more as residents get their first look at the early morning damage from the Midwest and where the dangerous weather is headed next.
Bollinger County, Missouri, hit by a deadly storm in the early morning hours Wednesday. The number of fatalities could rise in the coming hours as state highway police there say search and rescue efforts continue. This savage storm system, threatening about 60 million Americans, is moving east after battering parts of Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, and Michigan.
Oh my God!
Kelowna, Illinois, still assessing major damage after being hit by at least one of 7 reported tornadoes to roar through that state Tuesday.
I mean, we're lucky. I don't know. I look at all this and I'm just like amazed.
We're just hoping that it gets by us and we don't have no more damage, but that's what we're praying for now.
Oh, she is a beauty. Oh my God.
In neighboring Iowa, tornadoes like this one in Pleasantville Tuesday weren't the only continuing weather threat. Hail the size of baseballs or even larger reported here and in several cities across the Midwest. To the south, more hail and tornado watches in effect for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, including Little Rock, heavily damaged in last week's severe storms. The National Weather Service warns everyone in the affected central and southern regions to heed all severe weather advisories through Wednesday. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Meanwhile, hundreds who call Arkansas home are still sifting through the rubble after a devastating tornado last week. But thanks to social media, one family is reunited with an heirloom that got swept nearly 200 miles away. Alejandra Hernandez has the story.
But right there is my shed. Memories gone in an instant. Melissa Morris and her family rode out the tornado in her bathroom. While the damage to her house was massive, it was nothing in comparison when she realized what she lost when she stepped outside.
20 years of being a mom. My children's memories of me raising them, they can never be replaced.
The tornado took her memories and scattered them across wind, but one traveled over 150 miles to Bradford, Tennessee, to the home of John Ellis, who showed the picture to his wife.
And she was the one that was like, wow, we need to post this on Facebook and see if, anybody knows her, or see if somebody lost this, they might want it back.
The couple posted the picture, and on the same day, the post made it to the family. Now, a priceless memory is coming back.
I can't thank them enough. We're lucky to be here. We're lucky to have people around us to care enough to do that, to go the extra mile.
Melissa was grateful to the couple for their act and had a message for them.
People around here that know her could identify it and reach out to her as well and let her know that her picture has been found through all this devastation, through all the loss that we've all had. Thank you. God bless you.
Wow, that's awesome.
John, too, had a message for her.
Glad we could help your family. It's the least we could do. You're in our thoughts. We're thinking about all y'all and everyone affected, and we just hope the recovery goes well for you.
We love to hear those stories of recovery, and we always want to make sure you are prepared when severe weather comes around. So the National Weather Service is actually doing a campaign across the U.S. today called #SafePlaceSelfie. We want to see where your safe place selfie is in your home. So meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson tell us more.
So Mickey, today is April 5th, which means it is actually Safe Place Selfie Day.
Oh,
well, not like that, though.
It didn't go off.
Yeah, well, that's not exactly what they mean by the safe place selfie. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's actually about being aware of where to go when there's active, severe weather.
And then take a picture?
And then take a picture. It's to encourage people, hey, we got our helmet on, we got our shoes on, this is our safe spot, it's a basement, wherever, and it's just encouraging this. And this is all nationwide, and of course, feel free to share this on social media with the hashtag #SafePlaceSelfie.
Let's talk about safe places. You want to? Well, we always talk about in severe weather, the lowest place of a home. If you have a basement, you get in the basement. And if you don't have a basement, get in the middle of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible, because those walls can help protect you from those damaging winds. Now, if it's a really strong tornado, you might want to seek shelter elsewhere if you don't have a basement, but that's the rundown on that.
That's right, and we're not just focusing on tornadoes. Of course, this is the severe weather season to focus on severe weather like tornadoes and wind, but this could be for any time throughout the year, in maybe extreme cold. So obviously, there's some basic things we all know. If it's really cold, you want to stay inside.
Showing up.
If it's really hot, stay inside. Air conditioning, of course, stay hydrated if you're outdoors. take a lot of breaks, stay in the shade. When it comes to flash flood, you know, we're encouraging people to be indoors, higher ground, avoid flooded roadways. And then other hazards include lightning, wind, and tornadoes. Lightning, you want to stay away from plumbing, away from the windows. If you're in your car, make sure it's a hard-topped vehicle with the windows up.
But if you're inside a structure, you know, the structures have to be built to code, and that includes them being grounded. So if lightning strikes a building, then it grounds to the outdoors, into the ground.
Exactly, and of course with wind and tornadoes, know a place inside your home, like we were just mentioning, the center part of your home, lowest floor, to stay safe. So those are the places and ideas. And here's some weather offices that have been sharing these safe place selfies. This is from Houston, showing their selfie and one of their meteorologists. Yeah, in a bathroom right there. That's always a good place. Usually it's away from windows and surrounded by plumbing. It's a strong structure. So that's one of their tweets. Here's another weather service from Columbia showing their safe place selfie. It looks like one of their meteorologists is with their dog in a closet. So that's a good idea right there. And here's another one. This is from our weather watcher, Tyler Young. This is an older picture from last year, but I grabbed it because this is a perfect example of it. But showing his child right there, thumbs up in the closet with the helmet on, getting ready to take shelter if there's a warning.
And it can be even a fun thing, you know, grab your bicycle helmet and let's go to our safe place. And we have certainly found have a safe place here at the station. We have a basement, and it's down there in the lowest level, and it's even marked there. So if you do have a safe place in your building, like in your business, you might want to mark that so people will know where to go.
Yeah, so it's important to know, like, everywhere you are at, whether it's a school, at work, if you're driving, if you're in a store, know where to go if there's a warning. Of course, if there's really active weather, we can give you hours in advance, and maybe that's your cue to just stay home and avoid being out and about and being in that mess. So safe place selfie. That's a good picture there, Mickey.
It is. You still.
Well, we need to be in like a basement or with the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get that. We'll
I feel
take a
safe
picture.
with you, Matt.
Oh, appreciate it. Make sure you send your photos in to the WBRC First Alert Weather app.
Okay, just one more.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, got to go take my safe place selfie too. Wes and I actually probably need to do that before the end of the day. But coming up next on Weather Extra, Wes will give us a look at that super 7-day forecast, and I'll take you beyond the 7-day, as well as talk about some issues along the Gulf Coast beaches. We'll be right back.
Does your bathtub look like this? Are you constantly cleaning your shower, but the stains and discoloration just won't go away? Or maybe you're just hoping to freshen up your bathroom with something new and modern. If this is you, you may be planning on attending one of the local home shows. Well, stay tuned. Today I'm joined by Kirsten with a special announcement that's going to make the whole project easier and more affordable. Kirsten.
So Joe, we know that people are busier than ever right now. The last thing they want to do is spend hours of time on the weekend fighting traffic and all the long lines at the home shows. Well, to save time, folks should give us a call right now and get this limited time offer. We're taking 20% off all shower and bath projects, and we're offering some amazing financing. It's 12 months of no payments and no interest. That means you don't need to pay a penny on your project until an entire year after your installation is complete.
So you're saying if I start my project now, I don't have to put any money down, I get 20% off the entire project, and you're offering no payments, no interest financing for a full year. That's pretty incredible.
It really is. We understand that most people have a long list of renovations that they want to do around the house, so we're making it easier than ever to knock out that shower project right now.
That's fantastic. Well, Kirsten, how else are you making this whole project easy?
So Joe, people's biggest fear when doing a project like this is picking out something they're not going to be happy with. Well, we eliminate that fear by bringing the home show to you. When you give us a call, we'll send one of our shower and bath experts out for a free in-home design consultation. They'll bring an iPad and a sample kit to let you design the shower or bath of your dreams. Before the appointment is over, you'll see what the new shower will look like, eliminating all of the guesswork out of the project.
Kirsten, thanks. Folks, call the number on your screen right now to speak with a West Shore Home representative and to receive this limited time offer. Call in now to get 20% off your shower or bath project. Plus, they're doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means you don't need to make your first payment until 12 months after your installation is complete. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes White, a live look from Sanders Aviation. That wind whipping there, now shifting around to the west-northwest direction as storms move in and weaken across our area. I'm thinking the severe weather threat here has almost ended for this area with the temperatures cooling off into the 70s and the 60s. We're certainly not going to have to worry about a tornado. If any storms developed later on, they would be elevated, but just not seeing a lot to the west. This system's really losing a lot of its steam as it moves into the state, so I wouldn't worry too much about any major risk of severe weather for tonight. It looks like things are well ahead of schedule as far as the wet weather goes, and that's a good thing. Look at the gust there, 36 miles per hour as we check out those wind speeds there coming in from Sanders Aviation. But the gust front leading the rain-cooled air, it's kind of like a mini front here pretty much, and that's moving in closer to Tuscaloosa. We're about to say goodbye 80s. Birmingham, Gardendale, that wind is going to pick up soon, and you may notice some ominous clouds there moving in from that northwest direction as that gust front approaches the city of Birmingham and also Blount County. But not a lot of rain along this, it's mostly just a lot of wind and cooler temperatures. Most of the rain is actually behind that cooler push of air. You can see setting up back in here across northwest areas. This is where we're going to see a lot of the rain for this evening. A lot of that wet weather is going to struggle to reach those central and eastern areas and southern areas especially. But during the day tomorrow, what will happen is we'll start to see more of a push, some of that rain happening in those areas a bit further south and east as the day goes on. Model data is really struggling with this, and it really doesn't have a good handle. And this is what happens. You know, you get some of these local scale storm processes that happen, things like these outflows that happen, and the models really don't get a good handle on it until we start to see some of that data come in. And I think what's going to happen here is once we start to see some of the new model runs here over the next few hours, it's going to show that temperatures will certainly be a lot cooler, especially for across central and eastern areas by the time we get to midnight. But the wet weather, you can clearly tell it really kind of favors these northwest areas. But what the models are trying to show us in here with these storms to the northwest, well, that's what we're already seeing. And so I'm not really concerned there about any major severe threat for later on tonight. Yeah, we could hear a rumble of thunder, maybe breezy out there, but it is going to be cooler. Notice in the morning 6 a.m., see 63 in Hamilton. Watch this. We stop it at 2 o'clock. Look at Hamilton. Still showing 60s. It's going to be cool out there for a lot of areas tomorrow. Further south, we'll hang on to some 80s. Maybe a pop-up storm here closer to where this system's kind of stalled out, where we have that drop in temperatures in the afternoon. But not everybody's going to see rain, and that's kind of the challenging part here as far as making those plans tomorrow. That's why I encourage you to check the First Alert weather app. I can't promise every location will be dry late in the day, but chances are, if you want to try to plan for a time when there may be fewer showers out there, it looks like after lunchtime is your best bet for tomorrow based on what we see now. And then you can see 7 o'clock tomorrow night. See, the data is really kind of favored a little bit of a break there, a little lull in the activity, but wet weather could certainly come back late tomorrow night. Friday looks like a day in the morning, afternoon, passing downpour, some areas of rain, perhaps a thunderstorm. No severe weather. Look how cool it is. That cooler air continues to settle in. We have some 50s around during the morning. And check this out. We look at that weekend forecast Saturday night into Sunday. Lauren updated this forecast here. 48 degrees there in early Sunday morning, 47 there early on Monday. And notice those 60-degree temperatures. I mean, 60, that's it for Saturday. We're going to have to bundle up out there, but it is going to be rainy at times. But if you have an Easter egg hunt planned in the neighborhood. I know my neighborhood. We got the invitation happening on Saturday. It looks like the afternoon's probably going to be the best time frame to dodge the rainfall. Seem like the data really hanging on to a good coverage there early in the day. Hopefully we catch some breaks late in the day, but at least if you can't get the Easter egg hunt in on Saturday, Easter Sunday looks pretty good, but it's going to be chilly out there early in the morning. Let's go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. But hey, 40s, Lauren, we're not talking freezing temperatures. I just want to stress, I had a lot of folks already getting those gardens ready and planting those tomatoes, but 40s, that's going to be a big change compared to these 80-degree summer-like temperatures.
Yeah, Wes, we're definitely going to be seeing a cool down this weekend, but I know a lot of you are already planting your garden, so you're good in terms of that. But it is going to be chilly enough that you want to jacket. Now, is this going to last? No. Check it out. 6 to 10 days from now, most of the U.S., apart from the far western corner, are going to be seeing above average temperatures. So what could that translate to here in Alabama? Well, basically, we're going to see a pattern where a strong ridge of high pressure builds in, and that's going to skyrocket temperatures. Now, we mentioned that cool down going into Easter weekend through early next week, but then you see a steady climb the following weekend of April. Temperatures well into the 80s, and that looks like that is a trend that will continue into the following week. So we're not seeing anything in the way of freezing temperatures, just 40s possible over the weekend and into early next week, and then looking much milder. For perspective, our average low this point in April is right around 49 degrees. So what about any storms? With the fact that temperatures are going to be so warm, could we see any severe weather? Well, it actually looks like here in central Alabama, below average precipitation. So we'll see if that pans out. I don't want to totally say that's going to be the case just yet, because we have been seeing some discrepancies in our model data. So the European and American model are the two big models we use to look ahead with long-range forecasting. And our American model that I'm showing you right here is trying to spin up an area of low pressure in the Gulf by the middle of next week. The European says, not going to bother us. Going to stay to the southeast, go into the Atlantic. But this one that is showing the possibility of an area of low pressure developing in the Gulf could possibly bring us rain late next week. Here we are, Thursday, Friday time frame. We're talking April 13th into April 14th. So this is just one possibility. The other possibility keeps us completely dry. But that's why when we show our 7-day forecast, we're just showing 7 days, right? Because that's going to be the most accurate data. Beyond that, it gets a little dicey, but we're just showing you the general trends that we're seeing that could potentially keep a few showers around into that warm weekend in April, the 15th and 16th, and then possibly into Sunday. But this is not a guarantee. Like I said, the other model keeps us completely dry. I think I know which one we would prefer, but we're just going to keep an eye on it, and then showing us drying out past that weekend into the 17th and 18th of April, just seeing that warmer air in place. But meanwhile, for those of you who just got back from spring break or maybe headed down toward the Gulf Coast to celebrate Easter, heads up, a massive floating blob of seaweed has reached parts of Florida and Mexico and could soon wash up on the Texas coast. While it may not be great for tourism, it does have many benefits for the environment. Christian Von Priesing explains.
The waves keep crashing. It's just a matter of time before the tide brings what's next. Out in the Caribbean, a massive sargassum is floating this way.
It's really great for beach nourishment.
What's a nuisance to some tourists is something that others just tolerate.
And just the general habitat.
Aaron Hartwell runs SPI sessions teaching surfing lessons around the year.
As surfers, we're in the water and it's around, it's in the water with us and we just kind of paddle around it.
Out in the open ocean, there are massives of sargassum floating and growing, an ecosystem unto itself.
I've been studying algae for years.
UTRGV professor Hudson Dio explains the seaweed lives on the water, absorbing the sun and getting bigger.
The water warms up, it begins to grow more, so you're going to have, as it's getting closer, it's getting bigger at the same time.
This is a visual depiction of how the currents move in the Gulf of Mexico. NOAA maps show where the sargassum has been growing in yellow. From there, the currents will bring it north and west, funneling through Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba, and then to Florida, where it's already making landfall. Their model shows the entire Gulf Coast is set to get some sargassum, shaded in blue. The area in yellow in Mexico, just south of our border, is expected to get more.
The way the current is, it brings it naturally our direction, that current flow, which is pretty consistent. So if it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, we will see it at some point.
SPI says it's ready to clean up what washes up. They say city crews will remove sargassum only when necessary, and accumulations are especially high.
The city says they can use that sargassum as a foundation for the dune. They put sand on top of it, it acts as a root system, and then vegetation grows on top of it.
The city says its methods will be sustainable. There are no major health concerns with sargassum, but to some it does smell like dead fish. Those with respiratory issues like asthma could feel irritated eyes and throats. While it may cause problems when it washes up in masses in some places, sargassum grows and benefits life out in the open ocean.
It creates a floating ecosystem.
They come down and pick at the sargassum. There's lots of little creatures that they love to eat. It's also great for the turtles.
The city agrees what washes up will be good for local wildlife. They say for that reason, crews will try to leave it to dry before raking it. For now, it's a matter of waiting to see what the tides bring. the floating mass comes closer to our shores.
Man, as a tree hugger, I can't hate on that, but I do hate when I get in the water down in the Gulf and that sargassum is there being annoying. But hey, we're all for helping the environment. And hey, how about some cute baby video to wrap up today? Take a look at these cute twins. These Sumatran tiger cubs are still a little shy, but they have started to emerge from their den at the Chester Zoo. The female cubs, named Alif and Araya, were born in January. They are part of a conservation breeding program to help the critically endangered species. The zoo says just 350 are left in the wilds of Indonesia. Experts blame their dwindling numbers on habitat loss and poaching. Well, so glad to see these conservation efforts in place. And hey, we'll let the sargassum do its thing if it's going to help the environment as well. But you can check back in with us tonight on First at 9 for an updated look at that 7-day forecast and tracking any storms. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Wednesday evening.